We finally made it to episode 9 of our survival series, and yet we still have to finish not just the backside of our castle, but the surrounding landscape as well. So in this episode, we're making some serious progress, not only creating some of the most beautiful landscapes we've ever made in this world, but also building my favorite temple yet. Well, actually, it's my second favorite, right behind our Hikari no Machi temple. So let's get started. In the last episode, we turned our neglected backside of our custom mountain into a luscious forest with an entrance to our Japanese castle. Now I'm hoping to achieve something similar over here, with the big difference being how open I intend to make it, because filling this whole place with custom trees is just not happening. I'm gonna need probably 60 to 70,000 grass blocks, and I don't think this is gonna cut it, so that means it's probably time for a little time lapse. I'll see you in a few days. So I'm aware that time lapse is only what, like 20 seconds? But for me, that was more like 2 hours of collecting grass and dirt. I also went ahead and crafted up plenty of coarse dirt for our paths, and I'll also have to make sure to repair these shovels sometime soon. But with all these shulkers of grass, I think it's time that we actually get started getting some work done. Okay, well, since the last time I saw you, this whole thing wasn't here, and we've made substantial progress on this area. Pretty happy with the shapes I came up with for each farm. I'm thinking that these more forward farms will be more for wheat, while the outlines in the back will be more for flowers and more colorful plants. And you might notice there's a big hole in the terrain here. I left this open because I'm planning to put a building here, and this is where the foundation is going to be. And I figured it would be a big waste of grass just to fill it up and just build on top of it anyway. It'll all make sense in a couple minutes, but first things first, I'm hoping to connect this part of the terrain back down to the ground, while the path over here has to connect to our path we built last episode. But this will look great when it's done because you'll be able to walk through the path, see the castle, and eventually make your way over here to a great valley of wheat. But besides the valley, I wanted to talk a little bit about the castle and what I should do with the back of it. So I think I'd like to push the castle wall back all the way over here so it kind of lines along the valley. And then once it gets to around this point with all the snow here, I'd like to circle it back around, so it eventually links up with that side of the rock. Another thing I'm actually not really looking forward to doing is having to light up the whole underground over here. I'm gonna need hundreds of torches, and I just can't be bothered to right now. Although one thing I really am looking forward to doing is completing the area over here. I think this is one of the most beautiful places near my base, especially with the mountain peak here and just the natural terrain weaving in and out down the valley here. The fact that you can see all the way up the mountain, and right here is where that open hole is, that means you'll be able to see the building that we're going to build here, and I think that would look really cool overlooking this whole place. But enough with the ideas, let's just get straight back to building. Okay, I'd say this looks pretty dang amazing. And I also must say that my fingers kind of hurt from placing so many wheat seeds, but I mean, it worked out. One thing I do want to add though is that this, I'm not too pleased with the shape of it. Like, it might look nice going from wheat to flowers here, but the color balance would be a little bit funny with all this red here and then having like one solid color here. But I think I'm gonna let it sit for now. And while we're letting it sit, I think it's a good time to actually get started on our building. Okay, this might not look like a huge project, but this thing took way more resources than I thought it would. I don't know what I was thinking. I think all the wood that it uses, like with all these trap doors here, it just piles up over time. You know what, whatever, it's over with. So I wanted to come in free cam here and just show off, you know, our progress in the temple. And in the back here, I think it might be cool to either close this off or just make this into like a window, and you'll get a great view all the way down here into this like canyon area. And also, this is a nice view here from the bottom of the canyon all the way up. Well, it's not really a canyon, it's more of a valley, but inside I'm hoping to put maybe a couple like, you know, prayer areas, the usual temple sort of thing. Another one of my favorite views is all the way down here. You can kind of get a sightline from all the way down by our pagoda here. With the castle here and our mountain here, just having that in the background really adds a lot. But the next things to do on our list are going to be to complete not only this area. I think I'll probably have to do a little bit of terraforming, but that's okay. But another task we definitely have to tackle will be, you know, reforming this. I'm not really a fan of how this ended up turning out compared to the other flower fields where they're kind of like, you know, natural looking and rounded. This one just seems too artificial. So let's get the outline torn down and we'll start reshaping. Alright, so you might not recognize where I am right now, but this is a little spot that I decided to build. It's some sort of shop. I'm thinking something pretty unique, maybe even like a little moss shop or moss farm or something like that. But either way, I think it was well put together. It's on like a nice cozy side here. So as you're able to walk up this part now, you get the shop on the left, the castle in the background, and even our giant temple over here. With our path finally winding down, you get a great reveal of our new temple down this way. And something that I sort of underrated about this place was the cherry blossom trees that we decided to put down here. Initially, I thought I would just go with regular green trees, but honestly, I think that the cherry blossoms actually enhance it quite a bit. And I also wanted to share that easily one of my favorite parts in the whole view is this spot right here on our castle. So I also made sure to put slabs here, so you don't have to like, you know, open this up and see through or go in F5 and see through. But I really think this turned out nicely. You get a great view. But while we're up here, last episode, I went through this, you know, as part of the section of the castle that I ended up doing an interior for. Now, of course, this isn't the only part of the castle. There's a whole nother section on this side. So the first thing I ended up doing was in this building here. The first time you walk in, you're going to get it by two doors. Now, the little door under here isn't anything, but the door on your right is like a mess hall. Now, I sort of designed this place in mind for soldiers and like more, you know, workers. I was thinking for like an officer of some sort, there'd be a nice bedroom for them right in here. I really like this bedroom. It's nice and cozy, and I gave it a good, you know, amount of closet space here. But coming outside, there was really like a small amount of space here, so I decided to go with this sort of design. I think a lot of people people will kind of forget that you can use trapdoors for a lot of things, especially like rails like this. But anyway, that enabled me to be able to make a double door here that leads outside to sort of like a balcony. And not only does this, you know, help defend the castle, let's say if it's under attack, but it also gives, you know, one of the coolest views in the whole world. But before I forget, another cool feature of this bedroom that I wanted to mention was when I was making it, I realized if I put a window here, you can actually see a sightline into the temple over here. But I just thought that was kind of a cool detail. It brings life to, you know, your builds when you do stuff like that. And lastly, over here with this area, I think this place is going to need, you know, a bit of a makeover. But I was mentioning before, it would look really, really cool if there was just like a small garden over here where you could kind of overlook the valley, as well as a path, I think, leading down, you know, this side of the mountain that goes all the way down into the forest here, maybe leading to like a sort of cottage or something. I think that once we, you know, evolve the rest of this landscape here, it's really going to help match up. Like, for instance, this area here, I'm thinking about linking, you know, this path all the way down to this path, so to have it kind of cohesively, you know, wind in, and you'll be able to walk around the world just by, you know, moving down a path. But if I'm doing that, that means I'm gonna have to, you know, improve the castle, especially the rocks here. I'm gonna, you know, line it up here. But yeah, this whole place is gonna be a pretty big undertaking to have to tackle, but, you know, it should be fine over the next couple episodes. Now, coming up here after every episode just kind of makes me think, wow, we've come a long way. Like, now you can barely even see, you know, the end of our world now. I know these videos sometimes take a really long time to come out, but as you can see, the scale of these projects are pretty monstrous, but I think I'll take a bit more of a simple approach to some of these builds. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.